It's mock draft Monday, and David Bailey and Sonny Styles are top 4 picks, while Jeremiyah Love falls down the board.
You are Locked On NFL Draft, your daily podcast covering the NFL Draft. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome back to the Locked On NFL Draft Podcast. I'm Damian Parson, and today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet just $5 and get $250 back in bonus bets if your first bet wins. Head to FanDuel.com to get started. On today's episode is the top 10 picks of my new Round 1 2026 NFL mock draft. We're going to close the show out breaking down picks 8 through 10. And I'm going to tell you why the defensive prospects dominated this top 10, the top 10 picks in this mock. Picks 5 through 7, we're going to break those down in the middle of the show. But let's open the show with picks 1 through 4, where David Bailey and Sonny Styles makes an appearance. Let's start. Of course, Fernando Mendoza is the number 1 overall pick and to the Las Vegas Raiders, quarterback out of Indiana. At number 2, we have Arvell Reese, edge rusher, linebacker from Ohio State, going to the New York Jets. At number 3, David Bailey, the edge rusher out of Texas Tech, goes to the Arizona Cardinals. And number 4, Sonny Styles, linebacker for Ohio State, goes to the Tennessee Titans. Let's start right there. Sonny Styles, linebacker for the Ohio State Buckeyes, 6'4", 6'5", 245, almost 50 pounds. Ran 4.46, jumped to 43 and a half inches in the vert. He's an alien in the extraterrestrial of sorts. He's an elite athletic specimen, but he's not from Earth, at least not this version. He's from a different universe. And the reason why, I'm going to walk you through my thought process here. It's been chalky to put Jeremyiah Love ever since the combine, ever since free agency, to the Tennessee Titans. I want to do something a little different here and think about it from this aspect. What happens, or what if, right? Just saying, he doesn't go 4. What does the top 10 look like? And this is what the top 4 could potentially look like. For the Tennessee Titans, getting Robert Saleh, him coming in as the new head coach and voicing the room, like leading this defense for the Titans, he could end up drafting his Fred Warner. They got at linebacker in their odd front defense. It is, or in their defensive scheme, it's what, Cody Barton and Cedric Gray, right? I like Cedric Gray a lot. I liked him as a prospect. It makes me happy to see him doing well and him playing well since being drafted, right? And you know, taking steps forward. But Cody Barton, I think you can upgrade there. And I think Sonny Styles brings the best pure package in terms of height, weight, speed, instinct, physicality, body type, run defense, coverage ability. I don't. The only guy I could think that you might say that you could say rivals him as a coverage backer is Kyle Lewis. I don't think there's another linebacker that even touches what Sonny Styles can do from a coverage standpoint, because he's a former safety, right? So for me, I think it makes a lot of sense. And I know I get it, guys. It's a linebacker. It's not a premium position. This is not the draft to be chasing premium positions. I just need you guys to understand that. You do not need to be chasing premium positions in the 2026 NFL draft. Okay? You're going to miss out on a really good player. And somebody, let me tell you what's going to happen. Chasing positional value and premium positions, so forth and so on. Say, well, no, he's a linebacker. I don't want to draft him top 5. Cool, right? You draft a player at you know, whether it's you don't draft him and you hate drafting running backs, right? Let's say you force another position, right? Or you force another player into that 4 spot. Because don't tell me trade down. It takes 2 to tango. So I think you worry too much on positional value and premium positions instead of getting a great elite level prospect at a position that's quote unquote devalued. Your coaching staff is going to get fired. The GM is going to get fired, and the scouting department is going to be fired. They're going to clean house if your pick misses and you picked a far less talented player or impact player than a Sonny Styles. So I think, again, Jeremiyah Love makes a lot of sense here. Like a Rueben Bane Jr. could be here. David Bailey, I think David Bailey or Arvell Reese makes a ton of sense for this defense as a stand-up edge rusher as well. But I went with Sonny Styles to the Titans. Get that guy that can really mirror. So I think he can mirror, he can mirror athletic quarterbacks, but also flank out and go and run in man coverage against running backs. And you want a guy that can cover tight ends. Indianapolis Colts have Tyler Warren. Sonny Styles would be the Tyler Warren eraser when they play each other. Yeah, it might not be the first matchup in his rookie career, but give him that later season matchup. He's gotten his bearings. The game is slowing down for the rookie, and that's one of them situations where Robert Saleh has his next Fred Warner, and I think that is a highly, highly valuable comp and player in at the second level, manning and quarterback in your defense. David Bailey, right, for the Arizona Cardinals. Now, the Arizona Cardinals, I believe, after they fired Jonathan Gannon, former head coach, there was a report that was later, it's conflicting, that Josh Sweat, who they signed last year in free agency, demanded a trade. He requested his talent. He wanted to be out because that was a guy he was close to. That's why he came to Arizona. It wasn't the bag, I guess. It was, the relationship with Jonathan Gannon. But that was later, I think players came out and said cap, then, for those who don't know what cap means stop. That's a lie. That's not true. Just for, don't know. So I think even if he stays, I don't care. I still would take an edge rusher too. I think and I think that is a position that's open and available for them to upgrade, right? Because BJ Ojulari has not panned out. The edge or outside linebacker opposite of Josh Sweat on base downs is Zaven Collins, and Zaven Collins only has 1 year left. After the 2026 season, there is no more money and he could be cut, no more guarantees. So if I looked at that if I remember correctly from overthecap.com, shout out to OTC, David Bailey paired with a Josh Sweat in this division. You have Brock Purdy, you have Matthew Stafford, right? And you got Sam Darnold. You got three quarterbacks that if you don't get to them, they will cut you like a Ginsu knife, right? 80 yards down the field in rhythm, throw after throw, play after play, big plays, short plays, doesn't matter, right? They are going to absolutely slice and dice you like a samurai warrior, and you don't want that. You want to be able to pressure them, force them into bad decisions. We've seen it. We've seen the Panther game, the first game against the Panthers in Bank of America Stadium in Charlotte. The Panthers defensive line was able to get some pressure, and their pressure packages got home. Matthew Stafford made some bad decisions, right? I believe he threw a pick six and he fumbled in that game. Like he had 3 or 4 turnovers in that game, the first game, right? We know Brock Purdy is really good in a confined, protected, shielded space. But if you get pressure on him, he's going to make bad decisions. We know Sam Darnold will do the same thing. You got to take the ball, from them. You got to pressure them, force them into bad decisions, force them into tighter, quicker throws into tighter windows, and trust your secondary. And to me, David Bailey paired with Josh Sweat, a healthy Walter Nolan, hopefully Darius Robinson. They drafted out of Missouri. He can take a step forward. I just personally believe that's what should happen. Number 2, Arvell Reese. I think watching him train in that training video, I'm telling you guys, he can dip, he can bend around the edge. Does he have the ankle flexion that you want where he looks like he's ice skating, figure skating so elegantly? Maybe not. Who cares, man? Who cares? All you ankle flexion analysts out there, that's not what really beats tackles. Tackles don't want guys like Arvell Reese who are 245, almost 50 pounds with speed to power, arm length, ability to play with leverage, good use of hands. That's what they don't want. They don't want that guy getting to them. So, yeah, at the end of the day, guys, that's my main thing is that I think all 3, that's crazy. 3 of the top 4 picks in my mock were defense. Fernando Mendoza, we already know what that is. I don't even have to talk about it and break that down. He's QB1. He's the top pick in the draft. Not the top player, but the top pick. in a team that needs to add a quarterback. But coming up next, I'm going through picks 5 through 7, and I'm going to tell you where Jeremiyah Love lands and why it is, honestly, the best spot for him. Workplace chaos, deadlines stacking up, inbox overflowing, and the one position you still have to fill is sitting open. When the pressure is on, you need the right hire. This is a job for sponsored jobs. Indeed, sponsored jobs helps you reach the people who actually fit what you're looking for: skills, experience, location. So you're not just hoping the right candidate stumbles across your post. And here's a stat that says it all. In the minute I've been talking to you, companies like yours made 27 hires on Indeed, according to Indeed data worldwide. So if you're hiring, spend less time searching and more time interviewing candidates who check all your boxes with Indeed sponsored jobs. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to help get your job the premium status it deserves at Indeed.com/podcast. Just go to Indeed.com/podcast right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? This is a job for Indeed sponsored jobs. Before I break down picks 5 through 7, let me remind you, don't forget to check out the Everydayer Club for ad-free episodes and access to our group chat via Discord, where you can speak with me, Keith, and other listeners of the Locked On NFL Draft podcast. Tap the link in the show notes or go to lockedonnfldraft.supercast.com. Picks 5 through 7. At number 5, the New York Giants select Caleb Downs, safety out of Ohio State. At pick number 6, the Cleveland Browns select Carnell Tate, wide receiver out of Ohio State. At number 7, Jeremyiah Love, the slide stops. He falls to the Washington Commanders. And that's where we're going to start. Whoo, man. Now, when you look at what Jeremyiah Love is, and I've said it on this pod, I've said it before, I'll say it again. Jeremyiah Love is an elite, special running back. He is in the tier. He is of the ilk. He's cut from the same dual threat, dynamic, explosive playmaking cloth of a Jahmyr Gibbs, a Bijan Robinson, and a Saquon Barkley. This is one of those elite running backs that do more. Remember when Jahmyr Gibbs was drafted? Remember when Bijan were drafted? When both guys came off the board, I remember talking about the fact that they're not just running backs, they're weapons, and how you utilize them to truly unlock that weaponry. It's based on you, right? Notre Dame didn't completely unlock Jeremyiah Love. I believe Jeremyiah Love could have had way more usage in the passing attack. They didn't utilize him like that. But I'm telling you right now, I think that this guy, to me, I'm gonna say this. Jeremyiah Love, if you say, hey, DP, what's your top 10 players in the draft? He's my actual number 1. Caleb Downs is my number 2. I love Jeremyiah Love that much. And I think adding him to this backfield, yes, I know they got Bill, Jacory Krosky, Merritt. Guess what? I'm not phasing you out, young man. We're going to have a two-headed monster situation here. But remember, draft capital-wise matters. You were a 7th-round pick, not because you weren't good, but because of the situation of you not being able to play your final year, full season, right? But even if you did, Jeremyiah Love is Jeremyiah Love. And I think putting Jeremyiah Love as the number 1 running back in this backfield with a healthy Jaden Daniels, with Terry McLaurin, okay? They still got to add another wide receiver. You can do that on day 2, okay? You can do that on day 2. Here's my thing right now. We do this. This makes so much sense. It makes so much sense because you get 2 dynamic, explosive running backs in the backfield. I could come out and deuce personnel with 2 running backs in shotgun, motion out Jeremyiah Love into the slot. I'm telling you now, go to the scouting room on YouTube. Go to YouTube, look up the scouting room. You will see my YouTube channel. Go look at my breakdown of Jeremyiah Love. There's a rep of him one-on-one in the slot, running a deep out route, about 10 to 12 yards, I believe, against Keontae Scott, a projected top 50 nickel corner out of Miami. And he whooped them. The ball was late. The throw was late. Pressure got to the quarterback. It was the quarterback's first start. JD5 is hitting him early on that, right? Great route running, stem work, all of it. Jeremyiah Love is a weapon. And we're talking about helping Jaden Daniels, JD5. Jeremiyah Love will change and transform this offense. That's a fact. All right, let's go up. Let's go to number 6. Carnell Tate to the Cleveland Browns. I think for Tate, this is great because you're going to get, I think he would be the guy that walks in, and with Todd Monken, you want to, like, remember it's Deshaun, Shador, you want to get the ball to your best playmaker. Now, is Jerry Jeudy an immensely talented player? Yes. With Jameis Winston, Jerry Jeudy, he was like the Undertaker after you buried him alive, and before the pay-per-view went over, his hand reached up from out of the grave. It was like, oh, he's still here. He's alive. That was Jerry Jeudy. But you didn't keep Jameis, right? And it just didn't. He's dealt with too many drops throughout his entire career. And it is what it is at the end of the day, right? And if he's your wide receiver 2, that's fine. I'm good with that. So Carnell Tate gets to walk in and probably be the de facto wide receiver 1 right out the gate. And what you don't want is Todd Monken. Like, you want Todd Monken to be able to utilize him properly. You don't want this to be a Rashad Bateman situation, because there is some parallels there between the players. Like, one's healthy, of course. Bateman dealt with the injuries, but both are finesse style wide receivers that can be knocked off their route, can be out physicaled for when you're jostling for position, things like that. But the route running, the ball skills, the surefire, the sure-handedness of a Carnell Tate, that's what this offense needs. It just needs somebody that can get open, make plays, a guy that can stretch the field, especially if you give him free releases, because he's a gazelle. He gallops. He long strides. He opens up that stride and he eats up grass. He eats up turf, and he's able to glide and glide down the field. And the body control, the ball skills are there. He's not 6'3", unfortunately. He is 6'2", but he's got, 32-inch arms or something along those lines. Outstanding young player. And everything. I think what he is to me is he's safe. I don't think he's got a top 10 ceiling as a wide receiver, but I do believe he's got a really, really high floor. And for teams like the Cleveland Browns, sometimes, and hey, listen, in my everydayers, you know what I've said on this pod, scared money don't make no money. You know I've said this, but the Browns are a franchise. For example, they drafted Baker Mayfield over going a Josh Allen, because they were that regime was terrified of taking another project at quarterback and failing again. So they went with an option that they felt is safe. Both quarterbacks are legitimate quarterbacks in the NFL. Both guys are really good quarterbacks. Just one is an alien and a freak of nature. The other one is still a high-end quarterback at times. He's just super inconsistent overall, and that's just kind of been the tail of his career. Now, for the 5th overall pick, Caleb Downs pick going to the Giants. I think you have Javon Holland, who they did sign. You have Tyler Nubin and everything. I think this is a situation where either Nubin walks down as an extra defender in the box, or you use a Caleb Downs in that situation, right? And do you Brian Branch him and try to make him a pure full-time nickel with that hybrid safety ability? Sure, I have no problem with that. Like, Caleb Downs' instincts, the ability to meet the ball to the receiver, baiting quarterbacks from too high shells, and I think he, like I said, you can play deep safety as well. I don't want him as a free safety, like middle of the field close, and he's got sideline responsibility. I don't want that. And I know, yes, he's instinctive, but that's college. So far what you've shown is college instincts and playing ahead of schedule versus late bad college quarterbacks. Going into the NFL, yeah, it's a different ball game, man. When you're dealing with a Josh Allen, even if he is late, that arm talent can beat you down the field before you can get on your high horse, right? So you don't want to be in that type of situation. I think that the Giants getting him and allowing him to be the chess piece of this defense. Remember, John Harbaugh, who's a new head coach, had Kyle Hamilton, and their defense really took off after they added him. I think that adding a Caleb Downs could really help that secondary. They lost Cordell Flott to the Tennessee Titans through free agency and everything. Just adding another defensive back that can erase some mistakes, mitigate some issues, makes a ton of sense in my honest opinion. Let's get ready to close out this show, though, guys. We're going to go through picks 8 through 10, and they're all on the defensive side of the ball. led off by Rueben Bane Jr. So let's talk about those picks and those fits coming up next. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. The NBA playoffs are here, where every possession matters. Every matchup is magnified, and every game can swing a series. And right now, FanDuel is giving new customers a great way to get in on the action. And here's what I like about it. You can bet just $5 and get $250 in bonus bets if your first bet wins. The app makes it easy to follow the action with player stats, trends, and matchups all in one place. And during the playoffs, that extra insight, it really matters when you're looking at stars, role players, and key moments. It just makes the entire playoff experience more engaging from start to finish. Head to FanDuel.com today to get started. Again, head to FanDuel.com today to get started. And that's FanDuel. Play your game. Thank you for making Locked On NFL Draft your first listen of the day, and thank you for making Locked On Podcast Network, the #1 sports podcast network in America. It's all because of you. Picks 8 through 10. Let's break those down. At number 8, the New Orleans Saints select Rueben Bane Jr., defensive lineman, edge rusher out of Miami. At number 9, the Kansas City Chiefs select Mansoor, Delane, corner back out of LSU. And at number 10 overall, to close out our top 10, is Jermod McCoy, cornerback from Tennessee, going to the Cincinnati Bengals. Let's start with Rueben Bane Jr., right? For Rueben Bane, it is simple to me. The Saints go BPA. They don't blink twice. They don't care what you think. They go get them a dog, and they go get a guy that can transform their defensive front. For years, 15 years feels like? I think 15 years it's been since they've drafted Cameron Jordan, and how much of a difference maker he has been on this on that defensive line for that franchise, right? And he's a free agent right now. Unless something's changed that I didn't see or hear and I missed. He's been a free agent since free agency started, right? And we all know he's getting closer to the end of his career. He does a lot of media work with NFL Network and everything like that, and podcasts, and he's great. He's one of those players that easily is going to transition into being a football media member, and he's going to kill it too. So personality, everything. But when you look at what he brings to the field, it is that quickness, it's that power, it's that use of hands, it's that technical prowess, it's the nonstop motor to get to the quarterback. Guess who else has those same things? Rueben Bane Jr. out of Miami. He's going to set hard edges in the run game. Like a Cam Jordan, you can reduce down and rush, or you can slant him to where you get him matched up attacking those guards. He can do that. So to me, it's simple. Even if like Cam Jordan returned, I still draft Rueben Bane Jr. because I am trying to prepare for the future. You have Chase Young, who's the explosive power, long arm power guy, stuff like that, who's been really productive in his career. Hey, add another young guy to that long term for the next 4, 5, 6 years, or however long you're going to have Chase Young. And I think Rueben Bane Jr. just makes most sense. At the end of the day, I'm trying to get to Baker Mayfield. I'm trying to harass whoever's at quarterback for the Atlanta Falcons, whether that's Tua or Michael Penix Jr., and I'm trying to absolutely terrorize Bryce Young. When you look at the NFC South, it's one of the worst divisions in football, and quarterback-wise, they are probably one of the worst groups in the NFL as well. So adding a guy like Rueben Bane to get after the lesser talented quarterbacks in my division, while we're watching Tyler Shuck play well and grow, and you're expecting him to ascend, because I believe Tyler Shuck, if they get the right pieces around him, through the draft and everything else, and add another receiver and whatnot, they've added Travis Achan. So I want to make sure I respect that man's name and his lineage. Achan, coming over from the Jacksonville Jaguars. Yeah, is it Travis? Yes, because his brother Trevor is with the Panthers. Yeah, Travis Achan. You added him to this backfield. I think they're keeping Alvin Kamara. All I'm saying, we could fast forward to the end of the regular season, and the Saints are NFC South champs and going to the playoffs and hosting a playoff game, and they're the best team in the division, and it might not even be close if everybody plays up to that level. And Tyler Shough takes the ascension because physically, he's the most physically gifted quarterback in that division, and it's not close. Athleticism, arm talent, all of it, and that's the things I said on this pod about Tyler Shough. He full field reads. You protect him. He goes from 1 to 2 to 3. He can come back to 2 and fire it. He has the arm talent. He has the mobility. He has the height, weight, and size. And Kellen Moore talked to someone over with the Saints over the weekend. He said, listen, everything you said about why you like Tyler Shough is the exact same reasons I was told the Saints loved Tyler Shough, and they had him as QB2 behind Cam Moore. Just to break that news to you if you did not know. He was QB2 on the Saints big board behind Cam Moore per sources. But nonetheless, at the end of the day, guys, that pick makes a lot of sense to me is Rueben Bane Jr. Now we go to Mansoor Delane. Listen, you like the Chiefs and Steve Spagnuolo lost a lot in that cornerback room. Also, they lost Brian Cook, the safety, right? So you want to get impact players, right? Why were they able to let go of L'Jarius Sneed? Because they had a Trent McDuffie. That's why. And I know they got some young corners, but Mansoor Delane is one of the best cornerbacks in this draft, and it's non-debatable, right? Non-negotiable. From vision, in terms of reading the receiver, reading 1 to 2, if you throw twins or dubs or even trips to his side of the formation and force him off ball, he reads it before he triggers. He has a quick plant and drive. He's got nice explosiveness downhill. He tested sub 4.4, 4.36, 4.38 in the 40-yard dash. I believe there's man coverage upside. I like the man coverage stuff that I've seen from him and everything, but the zone, the off the line of scrimmage coverage ability that he brings. This is such a talented corner. Okay. You don't have to worry about the health concerns with him that you would have with a Jermod McCoy. So I think Steve Spagnuolo looks at it, hey, let me get my next Trent McDuffie by drafting Mansoor Delane and putting him in the spot to develop in my system and watch him end up being one of the best and most talked about corners in the NFL after the first 2 years of his career. And I'm going to close this thing out with the 10th overall pick, and that is Jeremod McCoy. He also ran sub 4.4. 4.3 something in the 40. He jumped 10.7 with a 38, almost 39-inch vert at the pro day. He did some field work, looked good in terms of flipping, turning his hips and whatnot, transitioning. Jeremod McCoy, when healthy, is the best cornerback in this class. He is to me. And my comp for him has been Quinyon Mitchell. Just a more well-versed in man coverage version of Quinyon Mitchell. But you're talking about ball skills, instincts, reading in zones, reading high and low coverages, stressing quarterbacks the heck out, all of that, man. When you ask me, hey, DP, Dame, does Jermod McCoy have a high ceiling? The answer is yes. And here's the thing. Both Dax Hill and DJ Turner for the Cincinnati Bengals are coming up on contracts. I'm not saying draft him to replace one or to replace both. No. What I'm saying is you need a nickel. Dax Hill gives you that versatility, okay? You work out the contract extension for at least one. You try to work out for both. Because I believe in having 3 lockdown guys. I believe in having 3 lockdown guys, and I believe in having corners that can play musical chairs, okay? Where if you want to move your number 1 wide receiver around, cool. Baltimore, you want Zay Flowers in the slot? Cool. I got a guy that can walk right in the slot with him. You want him outside? I got Jermod McCoy and DJ Turner waiting on him. Dax Hill waiting on him. We can do that, right? If it's Carnell Tate, hey, Jermod McCoy versus Carnell Tate, I like that matchup one-on-one, right? Dax Hill, DJ Turner, hey, those guys are going to stress him. He's going to stress them. It's going to be good on good. Good versus good, right? You want that. DK Metcalf, right? Michael Pittman Jr. You need guys that can run with these guys, but also be in the hip pocket and make plays when the ball is thrown. Jermod McCoy adds that to this secondary. And I think, again, I want the pass rush to get even better, but I think they have some young guys that I would say, if you're, with Coach Golden being there as a DC, If we can lock some things down on the outside, make the quarterback hold the ball, let's see if we can get some more development from Shamar Stewart. Maybe even reduce him down into a 3-tech on passing downs, right? Whatever the case may be, I want to be able to get to the quarterback, give my pass rush time, while also they put the pressure to make the quarterback get the ball out of his hands quick. And now I got DJ Turner can make plays on the ball, Dax Hill can make plays on the ball, and we know McCoy can make plays on the football. But that's my top 10 picks of my round 1 mock draft here on Mock Draft Monday. There will be a bonus episode, another episode dropping later on today, right? Later on this afternoon. Probably, I think, 12 Eastern time, depending on when you heard this, breaking down picks 11 through, I think, 22 or 21, 11 through 21 of this mock as well. I'm breaking it down in 3 episodes for y'all as we get closer and closer to the 2026 NFL Draft. So I broke down picks 8 through 10, 5 through 7, and 1 through 4. Go subscribe and follow for free on YouTube, wherever you listen to podcasts, to get the latest episode as soon as it is available. Thank you for making Locked On NFL Draft your first listen today and everyday shot, for being our everydayers. Remember, bonus episode dropping later on this afternoon with picks 11 through 21. And on tomorrow's show, I will break down and close it out with picks 22 through 32 of my latest round 1 mock pre-2026 NFL Draft. So come and join the conversation again tomorrow on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.